I never planned on downloading Tinder. I always told my friends dating apps were for people who didn't know how to talk to real humans, and I honestly believed that. But after my breakup with Hannah 5 months ago, I decided maybe I'd been avoiding the world for too long. One night, half drunk, half lonely, I downloaded it. Swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. Everyone looked the same. Posed selfies, dog ears, tongue out, heavy filters, live, laugh, love. Quotes, girls trying too hard or not trying at all. Then one profile stopped me. Name, Elise. No thirst traps, no exaggerated poses, just normal. Brown hair tied back, hoodie, a real smile like someone caught her mid-laugh. Bio said, not crazy, just tired. That line made me laugh. I matched her. Her first message wasn't the typical hey or wide. Instead, Elise. I never know how to start these convos without sounding like a bot. So, what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done in public? Bold, weird, interesting. We talked for hours that night. She had a dry sense of humor, sharp comebacks, a little sarcastic but never mean. She didn't flirt aggressively, no weird compliments, no fishing for attention. It felt refreshing. Over the next 3 nights, we talked until 3 a.m. about childhood, about breakups, about dreams that never panned out. She told me she lived just outside Briarwood, Oregon, worked from home, and didn't really have friends around. Sometimes she'd type, greater than, I don't like people much, but I like talking to you. I should have seen that as a red flag. But loneliness makes you blind. On the 4th night, she asked me to meet her, not like, we should hang sometime. She asked, can we meet tomorrow? I don't want to wait anymore. I hesitated. Tinder dates usually take weeks to organize, but something in her tone, urgent but honest, got me. So we picked a place, November Coffee House, a quiet little cafe near the highway. I got there early because I didn't want to look like a guy who didn't care enough to show up on time. I stood outside pretending to scroll my phone while watching every girl who walked past me. Then I heard, Aaron? I looked up. It was her, but also not her. She looked like the girl in the pictures, but slightly off. Like a blurry version of herself. Same hair, same eyes, but the face shape a bit different, jaw sharper, skin a little duller. Older, maybe 4 or 5 years older than her profile said. I didn't say anything. I was frozen. She noticed. She sat quickly, leaning forward, almost pleading. I know I look different. Please don't leave. I didn't mean to lie. I just don't post pictures of myself anymore. There was fear in her voice. Not insecurity, fear. Every sane part of me said leave, but I didn't. There was something real in her eyes, broken but real. So I stayed. And just like online, once she relaxed, she made me laugh. Her sarcasm returned, her timing sharp. For a moment I forgot my discomfort, but something wasn't right. She kept glancing at her phone, not to check messages, just to stare at the screen as it lit up and immediately turn it face down. Over and over, 5 calls in 15 minutes, all from unknown numbers. I finally asked, you want to take that? Might be important. She swallowed. I'm off today. It doesn't matter. But her hands were shaking. Something in her voice told me it did matter. A little later, making casual conversation, I asked where she lived. Her whole expression changed. Why do you need to know that? There was no anger, just restrained panic, like she was ready to run or lash out. I raised my hands. Hey, just talking, I didn't mean anything. She stared for a long time, then suddenly snapped back into her relaxed smile like nothing happened. The rest of the date was fine, good even. But I walked away thinking, there's something she's hiding. Still, we kept talking, every day, every night. Sometimes she disappeared for hours without warning, then apologized profusely when she didn't need to. 3 days later, she called me. Not texted, called. When I picked up, her voice sounded damaged, hoarse, shaky, like she'd been crying for hours. Aaron, can you come over, please? I really need help. I can't call anyone else. My stomach twisted. I asked what was wrong, but she only gave me an address in Hawthorne Estates, a run-down suburb on the edge of Briarwood, then hung up. I should have ignored it. I should have blocked her. But she didn't sound manipulative. She sounded desperate. So I grabbed my keys and drove. By the time I arrived, it was past 11 p.m. Her house looked abandoned, lawn overgrown, paint peeling, windows cloudy from dust, no porch light. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again. The door opened slowly. Elise stood there, if you could even call her that anymore. Her eyes were sunken, skin pale, makeup smeared like it had been on for days. Her clothes hung, loose, hair greasy and matted. She smelled sour like sweat and rotting fruit. She didn't speak. She just pointed toward the living room and walked ahead. I stepped inside against every instinct in my body. The house was dead silent. No TV, no music, no fridge hum, just empty air. Something told me, you shouldn't be here, but I followed her anyway. I never really believed dating apps were dangerous. People on the news always exaggerated things. Kidnappings, stalkers, psychos. I thought that stuff only happened to stupid people who ignored red flags. Turns out, I was one of them. My story didn't start with blood, screams, or any kind of dramatic warning. It started after a breakup, a stupid cliché breakup. I moved from Milwaukee to Cedar Grove, Wisconsin, a tiny town where every bar smelled like cheap beer and everyone seemed to already know everyone. My apartment was small, a little second-floor unit over a laundromat, vibrating floors and humming machines 24/7. It wasn't home, but it was quiet enough to drown in my own thoughts. I downloaded Tinder on a Thursday night, not because I wanted love, because I wanted distraction. Scrolling, boredom, left swipe, until I stopped on a guy who looked different. Reed, 28, black hoodie, sharp jawline, light stubble, messy hair, smile that looked tired but real. His profile didn't have those cheesy quotes or shirtless gym pics, just pictures hiking, drinking coffee, reading a paperback. His bio was short, greater than not good at apps, prefer real conversations. I don't know why, but I swiped right without thinking. A second later, it's a match. My stomach fluttered, something I hadn't felt in months. He texted first, greater than Reed. You look like someone who overthinks everything. I stared at it, confused but amused. Me. Is that supposed to be a compliment? Reed. Yeah. Overthinkers care more than anyone else. It was such a weirdly thoughtful message. Nobody talked like that on Tinder. We talked for hours. Music, movies, abandoned towns, night drives. Random but deep. Nothing flirty, nothing creepy. Like knowing a stranger instantly. Before I slept, he sent, Reed, you're different. Don't disappear. Nobody had ever said that to me. I didn't disappear. We chatted every day. No love bombing, no constant messaging. It was steady, comfortable. But he never wanted to video chat. Me. You're like a ghost. Do you even exist? Reed. I'll see you when the timing is right. Timing? What the hell did that mean? He also never marked his location on the app. It always said, distance away unknown. I shrugged it off. After 2 weeks, he asked to meet. Reed. Let's go somewhere quiet. I'd like to talk without all the noise. Me. Like a bar? Reed. Bar's too loud. A drive. A lookout. Something real. My brain should have screamed no. Instead, I agreed. Because loneliness is an addiction and Reed felt like a cure. He told me he'd pick me up next Thursday, 9 p.m. The night before the date, I checked his profile again. His bio was different. Instead of greater than not good at apps, prefer real conversations. It now said greater than some matches are meant, some are chosen. Weird, poetic, but dark. I texted him jokingly, greater than me? You updated your bio. That's supposed to be philosophical or creepy? Reed. Depends how the story ends. I laughed, but something tugged inside my chest. I spent hours getting ready. Makeup, new sweater, perfume I barely used. But at 8:30 p.m. he sent, Reed. Not picking you up? I don't like it when people know where I live or what I drive. Meet me halfway. Lincoln Park, 9 p.m., a park, at night. Every friend I ever had would have screamed, do not go. And yet, I went. Because loneliness makes you stupid, because I needed someone to choose me. Lincoln Park was empty, just yellow lamps glowing down the pathways and trees shaking in the wind. 9:03 p.m., no sign of him. Then my phone buzzed. Reed, turn around. I swallowed. Behind me, a silhouette stood near the playground, tall, wearing a hoodie. He walked closer and smiled. Hey, he said softly. His voice was low, warm, familiar. I breathed out, relief washing over me. He was real. We walked and talked, sat on a bench. Everything felt comfortable, natural. Not a single threat. Then he asked something strange. Does anyone know you're here? I laughed. Why? You planning to kill me? He didn't laugh. I just like when dates are private, he said. I brushed it off. Wrong choice number 3. We talked for almost an hour. Then he stood up. Want to see something? He asked. What? I said. He smiled wider. My favorite spot. Nobody ever goes there. My stomach twisted. Instinct screaming no. I should go home, I said, my voice suddenly shaky. His expression didn't change, but something behind his eyes did. You're not leaving, he whispered. And before I could stand, something sharp pressed against my ribs. A knife. Get up, he said. His voice wasn't warm anymore. It was flat, practiced. I obeyed. Why are you doing this? My voice cracked. He leaned close. Because you swiped right. He walked behind me with the knife pressed to my back, pushing me off the path toward the woods. No one was around. No cars. No witnesses. You're sick, I said, shaking. You don't understand, he whispered. I choose people who won't be missed for a while. You're sad. You're alone. You disappear without anyone noticing. My knees almost collapsed. How do you know that about me? His smile was slow. You tell a lot without saying anything. Branches scratched my arms as he pushed deeper into the trees. Then, headlights. A car was turning into the parking lot. Reed stiffened. Say one word, he whispered, and I'll carve your throat before they reach us. The car parked, doors locked, engine off. Someone scrolling a phone inside. Hope, so close but unreachable. He dragged me farther into darkness. We eventually reached a clearing, a shed, abandoned, windowless. My heart pounded so hard I could barely breathe. Inside, he ordered. I knew that once I stepped in, I wasn't coming out, so I lied. My ankle, I can't walk anymore. He turned slightly to look at my feet, and I ran. Branches slapped my face, mud slipping under my shoes. I didn't scream. He'd reach me. I just ran. I heard him behind me. Come back here. Leaves crunching, twigs breaking, his breath closing in. I saw the parking lot lights, a straight path through the trees. I sprinted. He tackled me. We crashed to the ground. I screamed, struggled, kicked, pure panic. He raised the knife, and then a voice shouted from far away, Hey! What the hell's going on? The person from the parked car. Reed bolted, fast, disappearing into the woods. The stranger dragged me to his car and locked the doors. Called 911, but Reed was gone before the cops came, and they never found him. I moved cities again, new phone, new number, but Tinder still shows the same glitch sometimes. Old matches remain even after accounts are deleted. And Reed's profile is still there, always at the top, always with a new bio. The newest one chills me every night, greater than, a story doesn't end because someone got away. It ends when I decide it does. And below it, I never thought a dating app could ruin my life. My name is Jordan, and I've always been cautious online. But after moving to Raleigh, North Carolina for my new job, I figured Tinder was harmless. A way to meet people outside my usual circle. I had been burned before, but I told myself I'd be smarter this time. That's how I met Cassie. It started innocently enough. Her profile was simple. Just a few photos, no filters, nothing over the top. She wasn't flashy or trying too hard. Her bio read, Sarcasm is my love language. Coffee over cocktails. Dogs are better than people. I liked it immediately. I swiped right, not expecting much. 2 minutes later, I got the notification. We matched. I froze for a second, heart racing. She had this energy, even online, that made me feel seen. I sent her a message. Dogs over people, that's bold. Almost instantly, she replied, bold is necessary when you're right. What's your excuse? We started talking that night, and for the next 3 nights, we didn't stop. I worked early mornings, she worked late nights, but somehow our messages synced perfectly. She was funny, sarcastic, smart. Everything I didn't know I was missing. Finally, she suggested meeting. I know a quiet spot where we won't have to deal with crowds, she wrote. Sure, where? I replied, trying to sound casual, even though I felt a mix of excitement and nerves. A small coffee shop on the outskirts of Raleigh. Nothing fancy, nothing crowded. Perfect. I got there 15 minutes early. I stood outside, fidgeting with my phone, scrolling through nonsense so I wouldn't seem like I was staring at every person walking by. Then I saw her, or someone who looked like her, walking up the sidewalk. She had the same hair, roughly the same smile, but something was off. Not bad off, just different. Older, maybe a little heavier than her photos, and there was a nervous energy in her step. Jordan? She asked, voice soft but deliberate. Yeah. Hey, I said, trying to hide my unease. She laughed lightly, a nervous giggle. I know, I look different. I wasn't sure if you'd still want to meet. I didn't respond immediately, I just stared, but she leaned in slightly as if pleading for understanding. I wanted to see you in person. I thought maybe it would be okay. I nodded slowly. All right, let's get a coffee. Inside, she seemed normal. We talked about work, TV shows, music, safe topics. But I noticed little things. Her eyes darted to her phone every few seconds. She didn't answer calls, just glanced and flipped it face down. Every time she laughed, it felt slightly rehearsed, like she had a script in her head. Finally, I asked cautiously, so, what do you do for work? She stiffened slightly. Office stuff. Accounting. Accounting, huh? I tried to smile. Ever get tired of numbers all day? Sometimes, she said, voice clipped. Then she changed the subject immediately. That night when I got home, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I replayed our conversation, the way her eyes lingered too long, the way her phone buzzed constantly. Something about her wasn't right, but I couldn't put my finger on it. The next week, she invited me over. Just a casual visit, she said. I should have said no. I should have trusted my gut. But there was a pull I couldn't explain. Her apartment was on the edge of town, a small building surrounded by scrubby trees. The front door was slightly ajar when I arrived. Cassie? I called. No answer. I stepped inside. The smell hit me first, a mixture of bleach and something metallic. My stomach turned. She appeared from the hallway, but the Cassie I had met online wasn't the woman in front of me. Her hair was a mess, eyes wild, her smile uneven. Jordan, she said softly, voice trembling. I need you to see something. She led me into the back room. And that's when I saw it. Bodies. Not just one or two, but stacked carefully against the wall, each one covered partially with a sheet, hands tied, eyes closed. There was a journal nearby. My hands shook as I picked it up. Names, dates, sketches of faces, check marks next to some. And then, a page with my face taped in, circled in red ink. I dropped the journal, stepping back, heart hammering. I did this for us, she said quietly. I wanted to protect you. You don't understand, but I can't stop. I can't let anyone hurt us. I thought if I controlled everything, if I turned to run. She lunged. I barely dodged, crashing into a table. Glass shattered, cutting my arm. Pain shot through me, but I didn't stop. I ran toward the door. She grabbed my ankle. Don't leave! You have to see! I kicked, twisted, and managed to free myself. I stumbled into the living room. My eyes darted anywhere for a weapon, a lamp. I grabbed it and swung. It cracked against her shoulder and she stumbled back, but she wasn't down. "Jordan, you'll forgive me. I did it for you. I love you," I screamed. "Get away from me!" Her face twisted in a manic grin. "I've waited so long for you to see me, to know how much I care." I ran for the front door. She followed, screaming, throwing anything she could grab. I burst outside into the dark night. My lungs burned, blood dripped from my arm, and my leg ached from hitting a tree as I ran past. I heard her engine roar behind me. She had a car. She was going to chase me. Adrenaline carried me across the street and into the shadows of a small alley. I ducked behind a dumpster, trembling. She circled the block, screaming my name, lights sweeping over the darkness. Eventually, I crawled to the nearest house with a porch light and banged on the door. A man opened. "Hey, you okay?" I... She's trying to..." I gasped, pointing toward the street. "Please, call the police." He nodded quickly, dialing 911. I collapsed on the porch, shaking uncontrollably. The dispatcher's voice was calm, professional, asking questions, promising help. I gave the address. When the police arrived, she was gone. No car, no trace, just the remnants of her apartment. Bodies, journal, everything had been cleared except for faint bloodstains. It was like she never existed except for the evidence that screamed otherwise. I never returned to that apartment. I deleted Tinder, blocked all possible accounts, moved a few towns over, and started over. But every time my phone buzzes with an unknown number, my chest tightens. Every time I see a girl with dark hair and that strange, calculated smile, I freeze. It's been months, and part of me knows she's still out there somewhere, finding the next person to lure. The thought keeps me awake at night, but I remind myself, I survived. I ran. I got help. I'm alive, and maybe that's the only victory I'll ever have. Night. A truck or two passed occasionally, but nothing that stayed near me long enough to help. The guy didn't try to ram me or force me off. No hand gestures, no headlights flashing. He just stayed there, one car length behind me, precise, unwavering, like he had practiced this. I spotted an exit sign I didn't recognize, Stonebrook Ridge, and made a split-second decision. I turned off sharply, nearly clipping the guardrail. He followed instantly, no hesitation. I took another random turn. He followed. A third. He stayed on me. My breathing got shallow. What the hell do you want? I drove through a small town. Quiet, dim streetlights, closed diners, old brick buildings, American flags on poles. The kind of place that looked safe but felt ghostly at night. Every corner I took, every stop sign I rolled through, he kept coming. His headlights never left my rearview mirror. After almost 10 minutes of trying to lose him, my mind was spinning. Then I saw it. A small building with a bright blue sign glowing above it. Stonebrook Police Department. I didn't think, didn't hesitate. I put on my turn signal and pulled into the lot. At first, the red sedan signaled as well. For one horrifying second, I thought he was going to follow me in. But at the last moment, he jerked his wheel, sped past the entrance, and disappeared down the road. Just tore off into the darkness like nothing happened. I sat there, shaking, hands tight on the wheel. An officer walking out of the building noticed me. "You okay there?" he called out. I stepped out, legs wobbling. "Sir," I said, voice cracking, "someone just followed me from the highway. I think he was trying to... I don't know. But he chased me for miles." The officer frowned. "Start from the top." I told him everything, every detail. The guy near the coolers, the aggressive walk, the car, the perfect following distance, all of it. He listened, arms crossed, jaw tight. "We'll check the cameras at that 7-Eleven, and I'll radio the highway units. But you did the right thing coming here." "Why would someone do that?" I asked. His answer was simple. Some people don't need a reason. After 20 minutes of paperwork and reassurance, the officer told me I was free to go. He offered to have a patrol follow me to the interstate, but I said I'd be fine. I wasn't fine. Every car behind me made my chest tighten. Every shadow felt like a trap. Every headlight in the distance. I expected them to swing in behind me, but nobody did. I made it home around midnight. My mom hugged me like nothing was wrong. My dad asked if I'd hit traffic. I didn't tell them. Didn't want to freak them out. But that night, lying in my old childhood room, I couldn't stop thinking. What if I hadn't pulled into that police station? What did that man want? Why follow a random stranger across miles of empty road? Why stop only when I reached the police? I still have no answers. Sometimes on late drives, I still check my mirror, expecting to see old red headlights hugging my bumper. But I never saw that man or that car again, and I hope to God I never do.